Because the first thing is honor and praise to fear to how, because he's the one who shoot from our brother King and Messiah, and only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Topic is going to be titled, Ye commit 91 Bound Custom, True Pagan Origin of Easter, Part 2. So Leviticus 18 verse 30. Therefore shall ye keep my ordinances, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs, which are committed before you, and ye defile not yourselves during the Lord your God.
Dionysus, etc. All such legends have common elements and are all associated with sun worship, and many were incorporated into the New Testament, which really isn't unsurprising when you look at the formation of the Holy Roman Empire and the adoption of Christianity by the Emperor. In ancient times, the Cybele cult flourished on today's Vatican Hill. Cybele's lover, Attis, was born of a virgin, died and was reborn annually. The Spring Festival began as a day of blood on Black Friday, rising to a crescendo after 3 days in rejoice over the resurrection. In the early days of Christianity, there were violent conflicts between this cult and early Christians over whose God was true, when the fact is that both stories are actually the same. In the New Testament, the death and resurrection of Jesus is another symbolic story about the rebirth of the Son, and surely wasn't a literal
that's a lie.
event. But not all historians agree that Ishtar is the origins of Easter, because there's another spring goddess known by the names of Oster, Ostara, Ostra, and Istra.
It's like they're naked. Put some clothes on.
This goddess was celebrated on the spring equinox of March 21st as the bringer of light after winter. But in actual fact, it is very likely that all of these gods originate from Ishtar. The goddess was often depicted as a hare, and therefore the modern-day Easter bunny was symbolic for the arrival of spring, as well as the fertility of the season. As well as being a goddess, Ostra is apparently an ancient word that means spring, and has been adopted and adapted by many European languages, and used ever since. Therefore, what this shows is that the true origins of Easter include a number of different customs and traditions from a number of different civilizations from different periods of time. It is a composite and truly pagan festival centered on the rebirth of the sun after the cold winter has passed. This is a timeless festival and has always been of high importance to most civilizations because it means that humans can once again cultivate crops as the earth warms up. So, why are we all eating chocolate eggs this weekend, and feeling sick and falling asleep on the sofa in front of an old James Bond movie? Okay, that was my own Easter tradition growing up, but as you may have guessed, in ancient spring worship customs, the egg was associated with rebirth, renewal, and fertility.
Wow.
But why does a hare or Easter bunny give out eggs? Well, in Germanic mythology, the goddess Ostara healed a wounded bird before turning it into a hare. The hare, still partially a bird, showed its gratitude by laying eggs as gifts. But even this Germanic pagan tradition goes back much further into antiquity, as even in ancient Egypt the egg was found to symbolize the sun. Going back to the Babylonian Ishtar, the goddess who is one and the same as the Sumerian goddess Inanna, and who all later spring goddesses were likely modelled on, she was the goddess of fertility, and her symbols were the rabbit or hare, and also the egg. So, when you're eating your Easter eggs this weekend, remember that the origins of this tradition go back many thousands of years. Maybe not chocolate eggs, but eggs nonetheless. As stated in AncientOrigin.net's fantastic article, the first reference of the Easter Bunny comes from a German text from 1572, which says, "Do not worry if the Easter Bunny escapes you. Should we miss his eggs, we will cook the nest." The egg-giving tradition, some of the finer details of the goddess myths, as well as the actual day when Easter Sunday is celebrated, were all incorporated into the Christian tradition and associated with Jesus by the Council of Nicaea. What I find most amazing is that the ancient traditions of our ancestors and the pagan symbolism have lived on. I wish you all a happy Easter, and thank you very much.
Alright. Man, it's right here with that. I give all honor and praise for you, how because he won't shoot my brother King Messiah, only begotten Son. I'll shout that, shalom.